Now, going back in history, the National Business Review in 2013 argued that the concept of social licence should be viewed suspiciously, as we already have a social licence permitted through laws passed by our Parliament, of course, our elected representatives. Yet I question, in 2017, the Labour Party campaigned on people's democracy to have been afforded the right to a social licence and how we farm and grow food here in this country, even before it's been permitted into law. So that's I've been thinking, I'm starting to sound like Hosking, but I want to know, from the experts here about, has our society's values evolved and changed to new perceptions of our industry that feeds them? And with the rise of their new values around well-being and environment, and because they haven't had to think about pure survival. This time afforded to our society due to our economic prosperity from our record exports. But now we're looking at a new normal post-COVID-19 with a wrecked economy and a mass amount of unemployment. So will the pressure come off the accelerator to pile more policy on farmers? To understand the concept, we have Penny Clark-Hall to discuss. Penny is New Zealand's very first social licence consultant. Penny, you're looking very beautiful there from your home on the farm in North Canterbury. How's the wee smush tonight? She had tucked up in bed?
Found in the living room. Post-bath, so not quite.
She's gorgeous, gorgeous. Can you firstly explain Engelbert's theory around sort of what I was just discussing in that intro?
Yeah, so Engelhart's theory is basically that the world can be divided up by traditional versus secular rational values and survival versus self-expression values. So it's on a graph like this. So countries like New Zealand, the US, Sweden, Denmark, etc., sit quite high on the self-expression values, which is driven by economic security. And then on the vertical line, you've got your traditional versus rational values. And so we sit quite high on the rational value as well. And basically what that means is, so we've moved from post-war where we were valuing economic security, where industry got a free pass, essentially. So laws and regulation were pretty loose. It was about driving the economy. And since that economic security has been achieved, society's values evolved into those higher level moral values, and those sorts of things start to be pulled into question. And that, as we know, public perceptions drive regulation. So those values that they have are quite important and have resulted in the primary sector facing increasing regulation to bring us in line with public values.
Why should farmers and growers care about the concept of social licence? It really saddened me to hear one farmer recently say, I send all my product to China, so why should I care about feeding New Zealand when they treat me like shit anyway? Why is it important that we have the whole of ourselves as a country around how and what we do and why we do and where we can evolve and change?
Well, it's a real shame to hear that, because the primary sector uses natural resources that the whole country relies on. So it's not just about using and abusing or using and respecting, whatever way the farmer goes. These water and earth and climate, it's all important to the people that live in this country. And if you rely on natural resources to make a living, you have to respect the fact that you are being granted the use of those resources by the whole country. They should care about social license, because if they haven't been living under a rock for the past 10 years, they'll know that public perceptions have been driving regulation against their industry. Government have having to introduce regulation to pull the industry into line with society values. So if you can get ahead of that and be more proactive and respectful of the country and the people that you live with, you can take a more of a leadership role and not be controlled by government regulation. So I guess it's just about being smarter about how you do things and more respectful of the people that are involved or impacted by your business.
So a lot of this fantastic information is in Penny's recent Kellogg's report that you can get on the Rural Leaders website. Penny, you say that perceptions and values are led by the heart, not the head, which to date you are saying that is where New Zealand's primary sector has got it wrong. What do you mean by that?
I think people have been trying in the primary sector, started out by trying to argue with facts, whereas public perceptions and values are driven by their experiences. So everybody's values and experiences and perceptions are they're slanted by a lens of life experience, if that makes sense. And so trying to come at it from your background and giving your facts is not really putting yourselves in their shoes and having that empathy to understand where people are coming from. If you want to capture hearts and minds, which is a lot of what this is all about, it's about having that empathy and ability to look at issues from different perspectives and lenses and life experiences.
Do you think this is an opportune time for us to rebuild severed relationships, if they are even effectively that, with our urbanised New Zealanders?
Absolutely. I think this has been a real gift to the primary sector in terms of social licence. So we currently have a country now that is focused on survival and also need entertainment because we're all locked inside and looking for things to do. Traditionally, we haven't had an urban audience that are really interested in listening to what the primary sector has to say. So right now, you've got a more empathetic and respectful urban audience who are grateful for the food the food security that they have. And they also trolling the internet looking for an escape from their lockdown. So we have an opportunity to leverage off that positive vibes going towards the sector to start telling our story, and also making sure that we are not abusing the opportunity by, bathing in the glory of it all and continuing to be what we say we are, which is the backbone of the economy, which is about getting on and doing it and doing the right thing, and not show ponying about it.
Couldn't have been spoken better. That's Penny Clark-Hall. She's New Zealand's first social licence consultant, with a very clear message there: stay humble.
This is Sarah's Country.